Hey everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. And if you're new here, hi, welcome. And what we do here normally on Fridays is we have a little discussion about some of the new releases and reissues or represses that came out on vinyl in either today, Friday, or within the last week or so. Sometimes that takes a slow trickle for them to get here. But anyway, I always start out with my picks of the week. And this week it's been out on digitally, but it's finally here on vinyl. And this is the great Tyler, the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost, double LP from the Columbia Records group. Now, as I said, this has been available on Tyler's site. I think they were shipped out within the last month. But anyway, vinyl is finally available at retail. And that's what we talk about here is vinyl. So my pick, and this is the sixth studio album from the American rapper and producer Tyler, the Creator. Anyway, he's got DJ Drama in tow, and he really thrives in the realm of the rap mixtape, which allows great freedom for him to explore every facet of his talent as a producer, a writer, and a vocalist. So this includes additional guest appearances from 42 Doug, Lil Wayne, Domo Genesis, Lil Uzi Vert, Pharrell Williams, and Daisy World. Now that's one you got to watch because that girl is going to be in the stratosphere at some point. She's so good, and she does sing with Tyler on one of the tracks on this, but like I said, mark my words, that name is going to come up again. Yeah, fabulous. So anyway, this is one, I would say, maybe Tyler's most masterful album yet. Whereas Igor, it was a deeply personal and explored bravely intimate themes, this one demonstrates Tyler's command of just about every aspect of the creation process. And he knows it too. With the help of mixtape aficionado DJ Drama as his hype man sidekick, Tyler takes on the persona of Tyler Baudelaire, a suave, well-traveled gentleman with a sophisticated taste for high art. So from start to finish here, Tyler's flaunting everything about his life. He's having a good time doing it, managing to create this unique portrait of life without learning or leaning towards stereotypical rap lyrics that are mainly about like money and sex and fame. He's living the sweet life, and he knows he deserves it. This album, the conflict, though, finally arrives through the theme that Tyler explored so deeply on his past two albums, but had seemingly dropped so far on Call Me If You Get Lost. But that's the theme of love. And while most of the album serves to show us how perfect Tyler's life is, these telling lyrics serve as a window into some of the pitfalls in the life of this young, successful artist. The album's theme of Tyler's life is near perfect except for this dissonance of his love life. So it's very relatable. Anyway, there's two ways that you can get this. This one is, there's the import, the EU version, and it's got this long sticker on the back. That's how you discern from the two of them. The other one, the American one, is the RTI version. And what the hell does that mean? RTI is Record Technology Incorporated, and it is the premier vinyl pressing plant in the US. It's a plant of choice when Classic Records does one of their fabulous reissues, or when Chad Kassam of Acoustic Sounds prints a new set of Fantasy 45 RPM LPs. So RTA is not only a pressing plant, it also houses one of the most awesome mastering studios around. So this is the RTI version. It's the American version, and you'll see there's no sticker on the back. So that's how you tell these two apart. They're both the same price, but the European EU version has the sticker there, and the American RTI version does not. Okay, so that is how you tell the difference there. I'm kind of surprised they didn't put that on colored vinyl, but I think there are some versions out there of, like, exclusives that people have that you can get colored vinyl. So anyway, my second pick for you this week is Tegan and Sara, and this is called Still Jealous, and it's on the Sire label. Now, the Canadian pop siblings, they kind of swap songs on this acoustic revamp of their 2004 album. Sorry, I gotta click on my computer because something is covering my notes for me. Okay, so their breakout album was 2004's So Jealous. And so what they've done is they've gone in and re-recorded in an acoustic format. Sarah is covering Tegan's songs and Tegan is covering Sarah's songs. And it's really kind of a cool thing, and it really showcases how their original album, they're reimagining it. They're stripping back some of the sonic layers that gave So Jealous its really distinctive sound. But this move underscores what a strong songwriting team they are and the emotions at the core of each song. So the highlights from this album include when Sarah covers Speak Slow and Where Does the Time Go, and Tegan her reinterpretations of I Bet It Stung and Walking with a Ghost. So really, really good, something different, and those are my picks for you this week. So now we got to get to it. We got a stack of stuff. It's really hot in here, so I do have a fan going, and I hope that's not giving us too much fan noise, but I kind of have myself like mic'd up here close, so I'm hoping that that's not the case, but it's too hot not to have it going. All right, let's get to it. We got a stack here, and our first one is Adult, Resuscitation, and this is on Ghostly International. Now, this is an album that was released by Detroit, Michigan electronic music duo Adult in 2001. Before its release, Adult's output had consisted of various EPs and 12-inch singles released independently. So this actually is a compilation album of many of their earlier singles. The bulk of the songs are presented on Resuscitation in remixed or re-recorded forms. So they wanted to re-release this album for some time. They said they weren't really ready until now. They have some new musical ideas in the pipeline, and they thought it would be a real nice way to reintroduce themselves before pushing that ahead with that stuff. This is on 2 LPs on red and black marble vinyl, and interesting stuff. Okay, next up, this is Holland Andrews, Wordless Forgettings. And gosh, this label, Lighter Verlag GmbH Co. KG. That's a mouthful. Anyway, frequently highlighting themes surrounding vulnerability and healing. American composer and performer Holland Andrews arranges music for voice, clarinet, and electronics. So as a vocalist, their influences stem from dynamic range, including contemporary opera, theater, and jazz, while they cultivate their own unique vocal style, integrating these influences with language disintegration and vocal distortion. So Andrews' Wordless EP was first released in February of 2021, then remastered and reissued by Lighter later that year. That's Lighter, meaning that big long label name that I was talking about. Okay, so the 4-track EP offers deeply layered catharsis through an array of broken chords and glitched out electronics, vocal and clarinet driven compositions. Forgetting is the second in a series of 4 digital EPs commissioned by Lighter. L-E-I-T-E-R, later, something like that. It is an instinctive follow-up to Wordless, which shares many of its predecessors' characteristics while remaining admirably difficult to define. So 2 for 1 on that. 2 EPs on 1 disc. Okay, here we go. These are reissues, the Animal Tracks. This is on the Abco label. Animal Tracks here is the 3rd album in the United States release as both LP record and reel-to-reel tape. It came out. Musically, it was like a hodgepodge of the group's recent hit singles mixed with an assorted vintage tracks that had not been included on either of the Animals' 2 U.S. albums. Available on 180-gram vinyl, and it has been remastered utilizing high-resolution sources from first-generation mono tapes. Mono master tapes. Okay, features liner notes by the Rolling Stone senior editor David Frick. I think this guy was like a big Animals fan because he's doing liner notes on all these reissues. Okay, then there's Animalization, the Animals. This is their 4th U.S. album. It's characteristic mix of R&B, blues, and traditional folk covers, plus Eric Burden originals, co-written with Animals keyboardist Dave Roberry. The hits Don't Bring Me Down, Inside Looking Out, and CeCe Ryder are included on this. Animalization is available on that 180-gram vinyl and also has been remastered utilizing the high-resolution sources from first-generation mono master tapes, and also liner notes by David Frick. Okay, then we have self-titled The Animals. These are all on ABCO, the label ABCO. This is the self-titled debut album, and it features a mixture of blues, R&B, and traditional folk covers, and an Eric Burden original, I'm in Love. The #1 US and UK charting House of the Rising Sun is on here. It's in, and Rolling Stone actually included that on their list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. The Animals is available on that 180-gram vinyl, remastered, high resolution, first generation mono tapes, more liner notes by David Frick. That guy must know a lot about the Animals. Then the Animals on tour. And this one is the second studio album, mixture of that same rock and roll covers, R&B and blues. Eric Burden, Alan Price, also top 20 single, I'm Crying is on here. And that same treatment on the 180-gram remaster, high resolution, first generation mono master tapes, and more David Frick liner notes. Okay, now I can't find this piece of vinyl. I don't know where we put it, but Atmosphere, Lucy Ford on Rhyme Sayers is also out, and that's just, the EP is a compilation by this Minneapolis hip-hop group you all know, released on Rhyme Sayers in 2001, and it just collects the previous EPs, Ford 1, Ford 2, and the Lucy EP. So it's around somewhere. I just didn't have it to hand, so I'm sorry I can't show you that one. All right, next up, this is Bad Omens, and this is The Death of Peace of Mind. And this is from Sumerian Records, third studio album by this American metalcore band, Bad Omens. They produced the album themselves this time. The works on the Death of Peace of Mind have multiple destinations. When you get to each of them, in every song you realize the trip itself is vital. This is like, you know, their quote about it. You can arrive early, you can arrive late, you must simply enjoy the ride if you want to arrive at all. Anyway, quality over quantity sometimes certainly comes into question here on this release. They're very capable of writing great tracks, but they kind of have fallen victim to their own self-indulgence somewhere along the way. There's a stack of moments to appreciate, but a good chunk of this release could have been, like, you know, shaved back to make it more effective. Anyway, it's on silver vinyl, opaque silver, and it's 2 LPs. And next up we have Black Stone Cherry, live from the Royal Albert Hall, y'all, and this is on Mascot, the Mascot label. Taken from their sold-out performance at London's world-famous Royal Albert Hall in September of 2021. This release marks a milestone for the band and served as a celebration of their 20-year career, featuring songs from Black Cherry's entire catalog. Live from the Royal Albert Hall, y'all, has something for every Black Stone Cherry fan. It's 2 LPs. Okay, next up, this is first time on vinyl in 30 years. God, this is the Blake Babies. It's called Sunburn. So on vinyl for the first time in over 30 years, as I said, the exclusive reissue is limited to 2,000 units worldwide. It's not only the Blake Babies' like best album, in many ways it's the last great college rock album. So during that brief time period, the circa 1989 to 1991, when what was then called alternative rock was on the rise, but Nirvana hadn't yet ushered in the grunge era. Guitar-oriented pop bands like the Blake Babies, the Posies, the Sundays, they were kind of seeming to be what the future of rock music was going to be at that time. And it was not to be, but Sunburn is one of the best albums from that brief era, and it features what's easily their best song out there, as well as their, you know, sweet but kind of tart relationship tunes like I'm Not Your Mother, Look Away, and I'll Take Anything. So lead singer Juliana Hatfield's little girl voices, you know, it's kind of alluring, and the songwriting has plenty of hooks. The band was also capable of, you know, pretty sharp lyrical bites, such as on the catchy tune that's called Girl in a Box, and that one features the lead vocals by their guitarist, John Strom. Overall, it was a decent period album. It really kind of transcends that era in which it was recorded. Now, you can get this on leaf green or opaque yellow vinyl, and let's see how we can discern which is yellow. And okay. So this one, I'm thinking because it has the green sticker on it, this is the opaque green one. And then on the back on the barcode, this one will tell you that it's yellow vinyl. So that's how you tell the difference between those two. And that's when actually Juliana Hatfield was really kind of finding more confidence in her voice. That's why, you know, it also makes it really pretty good there too. So this is Don Broco. It's called Amazing Things. It's on Mammoth Records, and it's about being alive during trying times, dealing with global pandemics and culture wars, face-to-face hatred and online abuses, but it meets those challenges with hope in its heart. This is their 4th album, and it kind of combines electro, rock, pop, metal, and more, all wrapped up in their own kind of unique blend, bringing to mind the likes of bands like the Deftones, Beastie Boys, Linkin Park, amongst others. But simultaneously, they sound like nobody else. You know, it's just they have that vibe on there. Okay, now this is Ray Charles. It's called A Message from the People. This is on Tangerine Records, originally released in 1972. A Message from the People remains one of his most celebrated albums, as well as most socially conscious work of his six-decade career. Can you imagine? He was kicking around 6 decades of output there. Wow. The record directly confronts societal ills of poverty and injustice while offering a universal message of brotherhood and hope for peace. The topics that are as relevant today as they were 50 years ago. The album includes such classic tracks as There'll Be No Peace on Earth Without All Men as One, Abraham, Martin, and John, and the gospel-infused Lift Every Voice and Sing, and Heaven Help Us All. So the album also includes Ray's recording of Hey Mister, which was played during a congressional joint hearing in 1972 to speak on behalf of common citizens to a government that was widely seen as ignoring their needs. Perhaps the most influential track on this album is Ray's iconic version of America the Beautiful, which kind of is our second national anthem, and it's inspired countless generations since its release 50 years ago. All right, and now this is Kohid and Cambria, Vaxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind, okay? This is 2 LPs, and it's on Roadrunner Records. Now this is sci-fi, prog rock, you know, these guys are titans in that genre. They are, you know, the leader there is Claudio Sanchez, and they've returned with this new album. Well, let me see. And actually, this is I think like a deluxed up repress here, because following the New York Progressives 2018 LP Vaxis Act 1, The Unheavenly Creatures. Okay, the next installment of the 5-part epic once again follows the storyline of a couple on the run from tyrannical forces and their mysterious new addition. So the music incorporates aspects of progressive rock, pop, heavy metal, and post-hardcore. Yeah, I have to correct myself because I was thinking of a different thing we're going to talk about where someone, you know, had put out a trilogy that was repressed. This is actually new stuff, so forgive me. It's like it's all a whirl. But anyway, this comes 2 ways on this blue vinyl, and right up here it says translucent electric blue vinyl. So that's that one. The other one is, okay, this is the indie exclusive, this one here, and it is transparent sea blue vinyl. And that one, see, it's very tiny, the information, but that's how you tell the difference there. So yeah, again, indie exclusives are special colors or pressings that are available to indie retailers. It's kind of something that the labels do to try to just put foot traffic in your store. It's like just a special thing that you can get from indie shops like us. All right, this one is the one with the trilogy. So sorry, I got my wires crossed there. And that is Cold War Kids, New Age Norms 2. Raw commanding vocals. This is like, again, got a funky label that it is not pronounceable. It's a CWKTWO core. So not sure how you pronounce that, but there's a variety of upbeat synthesized instruments taking the spotlight in each track. The new album here is brimming with enough energy to caffeinate whoever's willing to take a moment to listen to it. Many of the songs on New Age Norms 2 sound like something that would play as the main characters of an indie movie drove off into the sunset. With strong, stressed vocals set to prominent keyboards and synthesized bells and acrobatic guitar work in practically every song, the liveliness ultimately inspires positive feelings with the listener, though the lyrics may be more emotionally nuanced. However, with only 8 tracks on the album, this type of energy kind of quickly becomes repetitive. Anyway, this one is part 2 in the trilogy, originally released in 2020. The part 1 came out in 2019, and part 3 in 2021. So this must be part of the repressing that kind of got probably stuck in the channels of the supply chain issues, but now it's available for you again. New Age Norms 2. All right, this one is Converge, Blood Moon 1. And this is a double LP, and this is on Death Wish Incorporated. They said we wanted to do something grander than the typical 4-piece Converge music, and that's what their vocalist Jacob Bannon was talking about, and the seed of inspiration that eventually bloomed into Blood Moon 1. The new collaborative album created by the legendary hardcore band along dark songstress Chelsea Wolfe, her bandmate, writing partner Ben Chisholm, and Cave In vocalist, guitarist Steve Brodsky. And this is on, it's also an indie exclusive, and it's on colored vinyl, and I don't think we know what color it is. It feels, oh, and it's a die cut. This Moon is a die cut. I wish I knew what color the vinyl was. It does not say. Shoot. Anyway, sorry. All right, this one is Holly Cook. It's called Happy Hour. This is on Merge Records, and her new LP matures into, you know, she's kind of maturing into one of these queens of lovers rock. Lush, girly harmony, reggae style, kind of beloved in Britain since the 1970s. This evolution rings from bittersweet opening title track, tender yet assertive. Holly's voice caresses evocative lyrics through the arrangements, you know, tumbling changes. And this one is just, it's got a full download included as well. And it looks to me like they have a limited edition orchid and tangerine vinyl, and that will be indicated on the sticker. The other one is black. Okay, this is a new one from Cypress Hill. It's called Back in Black, and this is on Rough Nation Entertainment. Okay, this is their 10th studio album, arguably one of the most successful hip-hop acts of all time, celebrating 30 years of nonstop touring. They're the biggest selling Latin hip-hop group in the world. They're the first hip-hop group to have solid multi-platinum and platinum albums, having sold over 30 million worldwide. They're considered to be among the main purveyors of West Coast and 1990s hip-hop. The group has been critically acclaimed for their first 5 albums, and all of the group's members advocate for medical and recreational use of cannabis in the United States. In 2019, they became the first hip-hop group to have a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. And this one, listened to that today, and it is, you know, it's very true to what they've always done. There's not anything new breaking ground. It's a little repetitive, but, you know, good for them. They're still doing it. Next up is the Distillers Sing Sing Death House. This is the anniversary edition on Epitaph. Limited 20th anniversary green and black double mint colored vinyl LP pressing. It's the second studio album by the punk rock band The Distillers, originally released in 2002. The song Seneca Falls was featured in the game Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. This is a pretty good album. The music oscillates between old school punk and hardcore, but stays pretty melodic and anthemic throughout most of the album. And, you know, you kind of tend to enjoy anthemic punk songs, as they definitely have that going for them as a band. The only thing that is a little bit of, you know, it's not a deal breaker, but Brody Dahl, you may have even noticed this listening to Spinneret or the other Distillers releases. She has her, I think without Courtney Love, there would not have been a Brody Dahl. But sometimes I feel like she's trying to sound like Courtney Love. And I mean, you know, that's okay. But it kind of like, it's a little hollow sometimes. I wish it just wasn't such a absolute imitation, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, next up, the El Affair meets Bailey Michaels. Okay, here's a mouthful. Econdeo Inversions Instrumentals. Okay, this is on Big Crown Records. And by popular demand, Econdeo Inversions, Liam Bailey released his debut album, Econdeo, on the label at the end of 2020. Then, in the summer of 2021, L. Michaels Affair took the tapes from that and did the dub version of the album in his own style, titled Econdeo Inversions. Both of these releases quickly became cult classics in their own right. The chemistry between Liam and producer Leon Michaels is undeniable, each pushing the other to new places in their sound. And here we take the vocals out of the mix and focus on the production and the players pulling instrumentals from both the Econdeo album and the Econdeo Inversions album. You know, I hope that makes sense. It's confusing. This is a limited one-time pressing of 1,000 pieces, and it's on yellow vinyl. Limited edition instrumental pressing on yellow colored vinyl. Okay. And now we have Ella Fitzgerald live at the Hollywood Bowl. Ella at the Hollywood Bowl, the Irving Berlin Songbook. This is on Verve. Isn't that great artwork too on that? Wow. So Ella Fitzgerald's Songbook Records, with her peerless renditions of the best songs from iconic composers from Irving Berlin to Rodgers and Hart to Cole Porter and George and Ira Gershwin. They're the cornerstone of the Verve catalog and the standard for jazz vocal recordings. Ella never released a live version of these songbooks. This record, discovered in the private collection of Norman Granz, will make the first time a live songbook has been released from the First Lady of Song. And you can get that now. Okay, then we have G-Love and Special Sauce, Philadelphia, Mississippi, on Philadelphonic Records. Okay, so mixing old school blues and folk with new school hip hop and funk. G-Love's new album brings together both sides of the genre-bending pioneer's eclectic career in wildly innovative and deeply reverent sonic pilgrimage to the heart of the South. Okay, produced by North Mississippi All-Stars Luther Dickinson. The collection is loose and spontaneous. It's full of joyful improvised performances and freewheeling collaborations with like a whole slew of special guests, including blues torchbearers like Alvin Youngblood Hart and Christone Kingfish Ingram, and rap icons like Schoolie D and Speech. It would have been easy for G-Love to play it safe after coming after his Grammy-nominated 2020 release, but he's perhaps, you know, his most adventurous collection here. He's ditching all the rules and experiments with form over function, and a real celebration of music's power to connect across genres and generations. Okay, so this guy's been doing it over 3 decades, and he would go on to release you know, from when he first broke out in the early 90s, he would go on to release 7 more critically acclaimed albums with Special Sauce, plus 5 of his own, and become a fixture in these festival lineups. I mean, yeah, we've all been to a festival. G-Love, you know, he's always on the ticket, right? Bonnaroo, Lollapalooza, and such. And he collaborates on the road and in the studio with artists as diverse as Lucinda Williams and Dave Matthews, the Avett Brothers, Jack Johnson, Kebmo, and DJ Logic. So, you know, he's a real kind of a Renaissance man in that way. This was... yeah, okay, I was just looking to see if that's on colored vinyl, and it doesn't appear to be it, so I would say that's straight up black. Okay, next up we have Goose, Dripfield, on the No Coincidence label. So if you blink, you might miss Goose, attributing much of their success to a dedicated and exponentially expanding fan base, steady creative output, and a collective commitment to improvement. The band is now universally recognized as a premier musical act nationwide. Dipfield, their studio album here, offering a tale of introspection, carefully dissecting the details of the journey. Undoubtedly the product of multiple sold-out concerts and consistent recordings and songwriting, Dripfield is anchored by the theme of balance. Fittingly, the project features a mix of unheard originals and reimagined catalog staples. And this is 2 LPs on white vinyl, and it includes a 12-page booklet. So the first pressing is the white vinyl. So you know, you want to grab that while you can if you're up for that one, okay? And then we have Conan Gray, and this is called Super Ache. It's on Republic Records, and he's emerged as one of these preeminent pop superstars of his generation. After commercial success of the global multi-platinum hits Heather and Maniac, his music maintains its, you know, unflinching originality. His debut, Kid Crow, reached number 5 on the Billboard 200, number 1 on the pop albums chart, and was the biggest new artist of the artist debut of that year. So this is his much anticipated sophomore album. It's on ruby red vinyl. It includes 1 photo, 1 poster, 3 Polaroids, and 4 lyric sheets. And it is also on cassette. And I do really like that graphic. I think that, you know, that's a, you know, kind of a cool album cover they got going for him there. All right, next up, this is Gunship, and the label is Horsey in the Hedge. This is a British synthwave band formed in 2014. This is their 6th anniversary vinyl release of their self-titled debut record, limited edition gold 2 LP set, gold colored vinyl, and it's inspired by the legendary gold Nintendo World Championship cartridges. Okay. The jacket features handwritten liner notes and doodles by the band, detailing the cinematic influences that inspired the creation of this album. There's a lot of synthwave acts, but Gunship feel kind of like they're like the most polished of those. Their production value is terrific. Layers and layers of sound that don't merely emulate a bygone era, but that kind of progresses it forward. They're kind of leaders in that pack. Pressed on 180-gram gold vinyl. All right, this one is Hostilities, No Cowards, and this is on Bullet Tooth. So they perfectly capture what bands sound like: pure, undulated, unadulterated, pissed off hardcore. Okay, that's what that one is. Their riffs are visceral with drop-tuned chugging breakdowns split between rattling blasts of speed. Vocalist Larissa Perrin brings the package together with her extreme bark that rivals some of the best metal acts around. No Cowards, their debut album on Bullet Tooth, solidifies the band as a force to be reckoned with for years to come. This is a limited indie exclusive on blue vinyl. Okay, this is Jasmine in the Wild, and this is on the Anti Records label. Jasmine, this is a new solo project created by Jasmine Burke, the former singer-songwriter frontwoman, gosh, of the critically acclaimed Canadian band called Weaves. Having 2 Juno nominations for Alternative Album of the Year and 2 SOCAN Songwriting Prize nominations. Burke has established herself as one of Canada's most exciting and fresh voices. With this new project, she's decided to use her own name, Jasmine, and to mark the start of exploring her own unique sound as a solo artist. So collaborating remotely with Los Angeles-based producer John Congleton, who has produced St. Vincent, Angel Olsen, and Sharon Van Etten. On this body of work, she has compiled over months of being in lockdown. Finally, in the spring of 2021, she went to LA to record with Congleton, exploring themes of finding patterns in life and how to perhaps change them. On general direction of her new album, she says this was written during the fall of 2020. World was feeling pretty heavy. She wanted to write music that created a mood of happiness and space to grow. So anyway, it's very honest and raw work. That one is, I guess, black vinyl as well. Nothing colored about that. I always check because, gosh, there's just so many things that come out on colored vinyl now. Okay, next up, excuse me. Here's a new one from Jack Johnson, Meet the Moonlight. And this is on the Republic label. It's his 8th studio album, first full-length release in 5 years, produced by Blake Mills, who produced Alabama Shakes and My Beloved Jim James, and recorded in the Los Angeles and Hawaii. So the creation process marks a major artistic milestone from past work taking shape from one-on-one collaborations with Mills and unveiling an intimate and highly experimental process involved embedding Johnson's elegantly stripped back arrangements with enchanting sonic details. This is on 180 gram vinyl on black or milky clear vinyl. And this one will say on the sticker 180 gram black vinyl. And the other one tells us that it is 180 gram milky clear indie exclusive. Okay. Next up is JoJo. This is on Blackground Records. This is the debut self-titled album by the singer JoJo. It was originally released in 2004 by DeFamily Entertainment and Blackground Records. The album features pop and R&B influenced tracks and vocal maturity as well, you know, as being kind of mature beyond a typical 13-year-old. So it features the explosive single Leave, Get Out. The platinum selling album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 and established JoJo as a pop force for years to come. Kind of ambitious to have your debut be a double, but that's what she did. This is a double LP. But now, having said that, gosh, it doesn't... It says it's a double. It doesn't feel like a double, and it's 14 tracks. I don't know, you guys. That could be wrong information. This might just be a single, but I mean, I could be wrong. They could have put like four tracks on each side. So, you know, it could be a double. I just kind of can't quite tell. It's never before pressed on vinyl, so it's new to vinyl. Okay, now this. I wanted to give this a chance, but this is Machine Gun Kelly, Mainstream Sellout on crystal clear vinyl. It's through Bad Boy Interscope. Now, this is the 6th studio album by American musician Machine Gun Kelly. And here he teams up with producer Travis Barker, who co-produced the album's predecessor, Ticket to My Downfall. And kind of the snotty aggression of the record's opening track, setting the pace for what's to come. Its confessional lyrics are set against urgent guitar riffs and thundering drums. So throughout the album, he wrestles with his demons for all to see. The problem with this, you guys, is, you know, he was kind of a, underappreciated doing rap. And so he's kind of moved into this rock and roll arena. But we've talked about this before. There are certain bands that go under the alternative sound that it just sounds like the same exact whiny white guy singer in front of this every single band. I'm talking about stuff like Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco. This is stuff we've heard a million times, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like this guy has got such a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, you know, had a rough upbringing and all that kind of stuff. I thought maybe he had exercised those ghosts with, you know, the previous Tickets to My Downfall, which, you know, that was like a good effort, you know. I was thinking maybe had kind of hopes for him with this, but I didn't like this at all. I didn't think it was good. It was just a lot of whining and silly. And then there's even this track, Emo Girl, that features Willow Smith, and it's just, I don't know, you guys. I thought it was insufferable, but I really wanted to give it a chance, and wow. I don't know. Lil Wayne's on here as well, and on a couple of the songs. I guess you got to hear for yourself, but I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things I've heard a million times, and there's just like, it's not like particularly good. It also comes on a cassette if you're interested in that, though. So I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not impressed by it. All right, so next, let's see. There is a magnetic field. It's the House of Tomorrow that I don't see out here. I don't think they pulled that for me. Never before released. It's a 12-inch, a 30th anniversary remastered edition that has an additional track on it called Alien Being, and it's a vinyl etching on the side B. But anyway, it's on green vinyl. We do have it, but it just doesn't look like it got pulled for me in my stack, so sorry about that. All right, next up is Christine McVie, Songbird, a solo collection through Rhino Records. First ever compilation from Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, highlights songs from her solo career. She is obviously, you know, a big part of Fleetwood Mac. And this is newly remastered by Glenn Johns, along with 2 unreleased studio recordings. It also includes a new orchestral version of her Fleetwood Mac classic Songbird. It's on black or green vinyl, and okay, the black vinyl is just going to be that regular sticker, and the other one will say on translucent sea foam green vinyl. And so that is how you would discern those. Okay, this is more Cheba, Blackest Blue, the remix is on Fly Agaric Records. This was like a record store day thing. So I don't know if it just didn't come in for us on record store day and it's here now. This is the second in a series of 12-inch remixes being released especially for record store day. The first one, Blazed Away, the remixes, sold out in 2019. This year, Blackest Blue, the remixes, it includes British giants of electronic music Orbital are switching up the signature more Cheba chill vibe of Namaste into an electronic drum and bass dance floor stomper, whilst producer Guy Borado's remix of Sounds of Blue is a progressive electronica chill house masterclass. So that's available now too. 4 tracks, okay? This is Muna on Satisfactory Records. Muna, what other band could have stamped the forsaken year of 2021 with spangles and pom-poms, made you sing and maybe even believe that life is so fun, life's so fun, during what may well have been the most uneasy stretch of your life? Okay, Silk Chiffon, Muna's instant classic cult smash featuring the brand new label head Phoebe Bridgers, hit the gray skies of the pandemic's year-and-a-half mark like the double rainbow. So Pitchfork called it a swirl of stomach butterflies. NPR called a queer worm. Rolling Stone, one of this year's sweetest melodies, radiating the kind of pure pop bliss so many bands go for, but almost never get it right. So for Naomi McPherson, Muna's guitarist and producer, it was a song for kids to have their first gay kiss to. Several thousand unhinged Twitter and TikTok memes bloomed from that, and I hope this album helps people connect to each other in a way that we in Muna have learned to connect to each other. This is on olive green vinyl. Okay. And here's another one that I see. Oh, it's just out of place. Okay. This one is No Offense, Stuff from My Brain. It's on Hopeless Records, and this is a collection of songs written before and after therapy. It says a double, but this is not a double, I can tell you that. So this is that from, they have that incorrect here. Okay. I see what it's a debut double EP collection. So it's not 2 discs. It's like 2 EPs that were put together on one single piece of vinyl. Okay. It features guest vocals from Chris Freeman of Hop Mulligan and builds the world of No Finance's unique hyperactive brain. The project tackles issues like depression, anxiety, ADHD, past trauma, and the path towards prioritizing mental health. It's a deeply personal, but always expressed with a cheeky, quirky, not so serious sense of humor. No Offense showcases the big personality that has amassed a huge YouTube following and has led him towards being a leading voice in the trans LGBTQ+ youth issues. With songs like After Therapy and Life's a Bit, No Offense is poised to break out as this year's new star of the new wave of pop punk. This is on blue vinyl. All right, this one. All right, new Porcupine Tree. This is called Closure Continuation. It's on the MRI label. Now, this is the 11th studio album by British progressive rock band Porcupine Tree. The album is their first since 2009's The Incident. Anyway, it's like these guys are such top-notch musicians. They're very comfortable in songs that require technical proficiencies well above the average rock pop musician. But at its best, it's like really rejuvenates the cerebral and melancholic mood that is Porcupine Tree's signature. But in the end, it's uncertainty. It's kind of innate to a kind of feels emotionally detached. But, you know, if you're a fan, you'll be happy for this. 2 LPs on black or white vinyl. And I'm just seeing this one. It just says white vinyl, black vinyl. You get to pick. Okay, next up is this reissue. Red Cross Neurotica on Merge. Their 1987 album. It's getting a 35th anniversary here on this reissue. It features a series of recently unearthed and unreleased demos from that era. The original album was a blend of various genres, including garage rock, power pop, punk rock, art rock, and pop rock. That's just all kinds of pop. The album was influential to the grunge movement, and Neurotica's 2 LP gatefold vinyl reissue comes in 2 different colors. You've got translucent turquoise for the original album and translucent orange for the demos. It was remastered by JJ Golden. Okay. And now we have Karma, no. This is Reverend Baron from Anywhere on Coal Mine Records. Karma Chief, that's the label. It's a division of Coal Mine Records. They're the ones putting it out. All right, from the Academy of Deep Soul and No Ego, there's a few hints of M. Ward and Calexico in this music. Danny Garcia, he's a skateboarder with folk storytelling aspirations, and it's like effortless but invigorating, although without any sense of urgency. From Anywhere isn't without groove. You know, where instrumentals are scarce, the constant drive of drums are paired with rationed guitar licks and the chime of synth and harmonizing horns, giving them kind of a cool, laid-back ambience. This is the indie exclusive on powder blue vinyl. There's not a lot of information about this online. It also has a download card, and it is an edition of the indie exclusive is an edition of 2,500 only. And it also comes on cassette. Okay, this is a new Soccer Mommy. Sometimes Forever. This is on Loma Vista. Sometimes it's an immersive and compulsively replayable new Soccer Mommy album here. Sophie Allison is their singer-songwriter. And she's pretty gifted and, you know, kind of cements her place in rock today, finds her broadening the borders of her aesthetic. without abandoning the unsparing lyricism and addictive melodies that made earlier songs so easy to obsess over. To support her vision, she enlisted producer Daniel Lopatin, whose recent credits include the Uncut Gems movie score and The Weeknd's Dawn FM. This is on pink and black vinyl. It's also available on cassette. The only thing that I like Soccer Mommy, I just had a little bit of an issue with, sometimes I feel like sometimes these songwriters, they tend to just repeat lines too much. You know, there should kind of be a cutoff to just kind of keep repeating one line over and over, and not even just on one song, but on a few. It gets kind of a little tedious sometimes, but she does have a great voice and her lyrics are good. So rock on, Sophie. This is the soundtrack to Romeo Must Die. It's on Blackground Records, named by Q Magazine as one of the 5 best compilations of 2000. Romeo Must Die, the album, is the soundtrack to the film, and it was executive produced by Timbaland, Barry Hankerson, Jomo Hankerson, and Aaliyah, the film's star. Appearances include BG, Chant Moore, Dave Hollister, Destiny's Child, Genuine, Lil Mo, Stanley Clarke, and Aaliyah, who appears on 4 songs. The album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and was certified platinum shortly after its release. And this one is the first time pressed on vinyl since 2000, so it's more of a repress than a reissue. All right, next up, this is Spacey Jane, Here Comes Everybody on AWOL, second studio album by Australian indie rock band Spacey Jane. The working title was from Wilco's seminal album Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, and Jeff Tweedy himself wrote this band with his blessing, to borrow that phrase. It came to life at the start of lockdown 2020. Features already released tracks Lunchtime and Lots of Nothing, but it sounds and feels like an album that's been truly lived in, whether it's on the sprightly indie pop of a single Lunchtime, or the aching ballad of It's Been a Long Day, or the atmospheric Not What You Paid For. Every note is imbued with hard-earned wisdom and now being passed down to a new generation. They say you shouldn't have to pretend that you're in control or have it all figured out when you're 18. And this is that's the glistening highlight of this record that reflects on the process of leaving school and realizing your whole life is ahead of you, is on the track called Bothers Me. All right. Gosh, this is Tegan and Sarah in my pile again. Do they have mixed and reimagined? I don't. Okay, I guess my pick, that Tegan and Sarah, you can get that on black vinyl here, and it's also on opaque red vinyl, the one with the round sticker. That's just an FYI for you. Okay. I didn't even realize that until now. Okay, now these arms are snakes. This one is called Easter. It's a reissue. It's on Jade Tree. This is a vinyl pressing of from their 2006 album. They're a post-hardcore band. Easter shows the more technical side, a more balanced side of them. They were clearly made for live presence. Their energy level mixed with their music just kind of go hand in hand, feeding off each other. This is on blue vinyl. And again, also them Auctioneers, or The Lion Sleeps When Its Antelope Go Home. This is from the 2004. This was their debut album. They're a Seattle-based post-hardcore band. There's not a weak spot on this whole album. Every song is at least has you know, 1 or 2 parts to look forward to. The song structures keep you on your toes pretty much till the end. There's a kind of a Fugazi sounding song, Big News, that's on here too, kind of cool. And it's on orange vinyl. All right. Now we have Timba's bio from the motion picture Life from the Basement on Blackground Records. Originally released in 1998. Motion picture there. It's the debut solo album from hip-hop and R&B super producer Timbaland, with guest appearances from heavyweights like Magoo, Missy Elliott, Aaliyah, Genuine, Plays, Skills, Jay-Z, and Twista, as well as the debut on record appearance of the acclaimed MC Ludacris. So he takes full control of the production of the album, and it features hit songs Here We Come and Lobster and Scrimp. Trixie Mattel, the Blonde and Pink albums are on Peg Records. This is a double album, collectively the fourth studio album from America drag queen and singer-songwriter Trixie Mattel. Drawing upon her love of 60s and 70s style power pop, drag star Trixie Mattel dives into the escapist fun of her 2022 double LP, the Blonde and Pink albums, long before rising to fame as the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race in 2018. Mattel was an aspiring singer-songwriter with sound steeped in 90s acoustic pop, country, and early 2000s alt-rock. As a drag performer, she's made it an integral aspect of her work, juxtaposing her high camp visual style with her knack for folky, country-tinged balladry. Double LP. Should have put it on pink and gold, but they didn't. This is various artists' house chill on Wagram. It's an installment in a series of excellent chill compilations from Wagram. This one is various artists. I Saved Latin. It's a tribute to Wes Anderson on American Laundromat. It's a double album featuring today's best artists covering songs from Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, Royal Tannenbaums, Life Aquatic, Moonrise Kingdom, and more. Trying to speed it up here so we don't hit the hour mark, you guys. Okay, here's a various artists, Jazzy Chill. This is also on the Wagram label. It's another installment in that series of chill compilations on the Wagram label. And then last, again, this is Kanye West Donda Deluxe, 4 LPs on Def Jam, and it's just got a plain black cover here. He delivers the deluxe edition of the record-shattering Donda, featuring 4 bonus tracks plus fan favorite verses from Andre 3K, Kid Cudi, and more. This release from one of the most influential pop stars of the 21st century was his 10th #1 album on the Billboard 200, racking up over 1 billion streams the first 10 days. Originally previewed at 3 historic live stream events, the global phenomenon topped charts in 11 countries and set an Apple Music record of #1s in 152 countries. 4 LPs, Kanye West, Donda. Boom, that's it. Okay, let's go start our weekend. And thanks for hanging in there for this long if you made it. Price list is down below. We'll see you next week, and I hope you find something you enjoyed. We're open 10 to 4 every day. See you later.